Mia and I are so excited for another art tutorial. We had so much fun painting the last one. Well, Mia didn't have a chance to try out the art tutorial because her little paws can't grasp the paintbrush quite so well. But maybe we'll do some type of a finger paint type project. What do you think, Mia? Yes, Mom. Kiss. Mwah. So we are going to paint something really cool today. This is called a snake plant, and I have one in my house, and I love it so much. As you can tell, I love painting plants. Nature and being outside, anything plant related, I absolutely love. So if you are excited to get your paintbrushes out and try this tutorial, please let me know how those projects come out. And I'll remind you to tag Mimi's Magic Sketchbook throughout the video because I cannot wait to see what you guys create. All right, let's get started. So I love plants. So I have a lot of house plants around, and this one is called a snake plant. And you know me, I have to be outside at all times of the day. So I took Mr. Snake Plant outside and decided to do a little bit of a sketch. Oh, you saw little Mia there. And Mia loves to be out on the deck with me. It was such a glorious day. It was just like, it's a shame to be inside with a day like that. It's just, I cannot. Mr. Sunshine calls me and says, you know what, Miss Mimi? You need to get outside and get your sketch pad and get to sketching. So that's what I did. So actually, a fun fact about snake plants, they are the easiest plants to take care of. If you are new to the plant world, I would highly recommend Mr. Snake Plant because I feel like it doesn't need as much attention as a lot of other plants, and it's kind of foolproof. If you don't think you have a green thumb, Mr. Snake Plant is the plant to adopt. And I got this one, I think at the local grocery store. They're really great, especially in Texas where it's super hot. They will not die. I promise you that. I don't want to promise, but I will say you have a great chance at keeping it alive. And this was the final sketch, and I did a planning kind of a new sketch of a design I wanted to do to paint. So I'm going to keep my reference sketch up at the top left corner, and I am going to start putting out my palette of paints. And I like to always have black and white on there. You know what I did? So this was a big no-no. I put brown on there thinking that I was going to use Mr. Brown. But I decided, you know what, during the actual painting process, I wound up wasting the brown paint because I didn't really use it after all. So kids, let this be a lesson to you all. Do not be like Miss Mimi and waste your paints. Remember, you can always add paints as you go along. For this tutorial, I decided to lay out the palette just so you can kind of see the colors that I put. And some artists out there will shiver to their cores with the way I'm putting out my paints. But you know what? I don't care. I do me and you should do you. And that's it. So I am doing a square. So this is how I make a little three-dimensional vase type deal. I do a square, and then if you look at the edges, I kind of do a little loop-de-loo. And then out of like nowhere, voila, it's magic. You have a roll of toilet paper. Actually, it looks like a roll of toilet paper, but it's going to be the planter that my plant is in. I added 5 little squiggly lines for where the leaves are going to be and a background line. So you can do this. Your line can be a little bit higher up. But I want to see like the planter is above or in front, in front of the wall. And so now I'm going to start making a plant shape going around those lines. And I switched out my brush because that one was a little bit too big. So I always have lots of brushes next to me. So you might have to do the same thing. You just switch out. You learn as you go, and I'm still learning. And I'm gonna fill in that green shape. So I kind of cheated and I didn't make my own green. I kind of did. So I took the green straight out of the tube, but I added some more colors to it to give it more of a dark green. So if you want to have that bright green, you can use that too. It's just the plant I have on my sketch is green, and that's what I want to do. So I'm going to fill in all of those leafy shapes of the snake plant. And then through YouTube magic and the speed of fast forwarding, voila, it is done. And remember, kids, wash those brushes. Always have 2 jars of water with you. And whenever you mix a new color, you want a clean brush. So now I'm going to work on the planter, or the roll of toilet paper. And I am going to color it in full speed. Oops. And see, this is what I'm talking about. Miss Mimi did not wash her brush enough, and I got some green smudge all up in my beautiful orangey color. But that's okay, because there is no mistakes when I paint. Remember what I said? It's just sometimes you make little bobos, but you can fix it up. And acrylic paints are great they're very forgiving. So if you make a mistake, you just cover it up. And I always say I intended for that little mark to be there, so I don't mind. The detail phase, you won't even notice it was there. So next I'm going to add a darker shade of that orange on the inside of my planter because I want it to look a little bit darker to give it more dimension, to look like it's kind of like there's a shadow. So it's still the same color, but I added a little bit of black to it. And you can see there. And don't worry about filling up every single tiny little detail. See in the front of my plant, I have a little white streak still there. All of that's going to be covered up in the detail stage. So right now we're just going to fill in colors. And I changed my water a lot. So that's what I just did right now. And now I'm going to do the blue. I'm telling you, critters, I love the color blue, orange, and green. And I just noticed, hello, I'm using those colors. So I just happen to love those colors. But if you could do whatever color you want on these. So I'm just going to fill in that bottom part of the table and just fill it up with that pretty blue color. And add paint as you need. Do not waste all that paint and just blob up that paint on your palette because it will dry. And you don't want to be wasteful because we have so many more projects that we are going to accomplish on this channel. And I hope you guys really do try some of these tutorials. Remember, compliment yourself throughout this process. You are awesome. You are trying, and that is the best that you could do, is to try. And now I'm mixing a lighter value by adding white. Ooh, and I got some dried up acrylic paint that was kind of wormy, and I had to take that off. We don't want that in our picture. So I'm gonna fill it up with that blue shade. So I took that same blue. Oh, YouTube magic, voila! I'm a super fast painter, it appears that way, but take your time throughout these paintings. I take breaks, let things dry. Detail time! Woohoo! That's my most favoriteest time of any project. You gotta do a happy dance at this stage. And now we're going to add a lighter shade of that value that I did for the planter. So I used orange. So whatever color you use, just add a little white to it. And we're going to paint the top of our planter so it doesn't look so flat. And this would be great with a smaller detail brush. So I always have larger brushes, smaller brushes. I love all kinds of brushes. I really, really do. So take your time with this process and let each stage dry. I really recommend doing that. Do not rush it. And now I'm getting some white. What am I gonna do here? Sometimes I forget what I'm about to do. Ooh! So now we're doing the fun part. So on the snake plant, there's this really cool design of these white snake-like shapes. Now I'm just realizing this plant really does look like a snake, doesn't it? I'm going to use the white straight out of the tube, and I'm going to make these kind of up and down type movements. And oops, I got a little bit of blob there, but that's okay because I can fix it. I'm going to do that to every single leaf and just follow the shape of each leaf. And through YouTube magic, look how fast I was. Oh, you gotta do happy dance. I love to do happy dance. More details! Woo! I love details, can you tell? So now that planter is not, it's just not gonna do for me. So I have to add definitely more details than what I have. So I'm gonna mix some, it looks like I put a lot more yellow, and I'm just gonna randomly put some designs. And remember Mr. Smudge that was there? You're not even gonna notice he was there. And if you do, that's okay, because I meant it to be there. I really didn't, but that's okay. No one has to know. Ooh, see, doesn't that already look way more cool than just having a flat stamp of a color? And now I'm going to go in with some polka dots and just add it all throughout this thing. You could even use a Q-tip for this if you're doing any kind of a dot project. I did not have a Q-tip on hand, so I just used a paintbrush. Either way. And I'm going to fill it up. And look how fun it looks. I love fun designs and fun, bright colors. And wash those brushes, kids. You can never wash your brushes enough. Really. I'm going to sound so annoying about it, but it's true. Ooh, and here comes Mr. Swirls. I need that background to look way more interesting than a boring just flat blue. So I'm just going in. None of this is planned. I'm kind of just, you know what? Let's add a curlicue. I like it, and that's what happened. That's how most of my paintings come about. I just wing it. And doesn't that already look so cool? You guys, I'm just so excited for this, to see this project in action. I might have to redo it, follow my own tutorial. So now you see on my sketch there is and on the plant too, there's this yellow kind of ring, I wouldn't say ring, an outline at the edge of each leaf. So I'm going to put that around it. And at this stage, I made sure everything was dry because this is you need a little bit of a steady hand at this point and a small brush. So I wanted to make sure I did not smudge any paints because my hand was going to be resting on the canvas. And I'm using a canvas board. You can use whatever you want. If you're painting on a poster board, a piece of cardboard, just anything, a paper, you can, whatever you have around the house. So I'm using the canvas panel boards for this project. And I'm going to carefully outline, and I'm very patient of a person. So if you are not as patient as Mimi, that's okay. This would be a great time to practice patience. Maybe outline a leaf and then take a break, go have a snack, go play baseball with your nephew like I did today. We love playing catch. And then I'm going to carefully go, again, a great detail brush would be perfect for this. That just means a smaller brush for details. And I'm going to carefully outline each one of those snaky type leaves. Be careful, those leaves might bite you. And look how patient I am. You go, Mimi. Good job for having so much patience. And through YouTube magic, we will fast forward this process so you guys do not fall asleep watching me do this. Voila! And there you have it. Doesn't that already look so cool? Oh, tap dance. Oh yeah. Again, we love a happy dance over here at Mimi's Magic Sketchbook. I hope you guys love to dance. Dancing is one of my most favorite of things ever. And now we're going to mix a light blue, and I'm adding some squigglies at the bottom because, you know, that blue background was just not as cool for Mimi. It wasn't going to cut it. And you can mix whatever colors you want. And then, voila! This was the final one. I added a black outline and some darker shades of blue and lots of polka dots. And that's it, critters. I hope you guys loved that video. I had so much fun painting it, and I cannot wait for the next painting. We'll see what we create because we always have a lot of ideas going on in this noggin, and I can't wait to start painting more with you guys. And we'll be doing more things like clay, paper projects, everything art and nature will be on this channel. So if you did try this tutorial, please tag Mimi's Magic Sketchbook. Ask a parent though, or a grown-up, please, before you post anything on social media, because I am going to be so happy to see what you guys created, and hopefully you'll get a chance to get a shout out on this channel or on my Instagram or Facebook. We'll see. All right, Earth Critters, I love you so much, and stay tuned for another art video. Mwah! Oh, Mia forgot to say goodbye to all her Earth Critter friends. You want to say bye? Say bye. Mwah, you're so cute.